permite perforar una capa muy gruesa de hielo. Mañana desplegaremos el prototipo en el área que compramos en el Polo Norte. Hola, ¿buscas a tu papá o a tu mamá?
Simon Volk Jr.,
Sí.
tenemos que hablar.
Disculpa, ¿cómo entraste aquí?
Es privado, es importante.
Sí, lo siento, estoy en medio de
¿No puedes
algo.
venir un momento?
No, cariño, ¿por qué no me dices qué pasa para que podamos continuar?
Díselo.
No pueden perforar en el Polo Norte.
¿Y por qué no?
Saldrá mal. Se liberarán enormes cantidades de gas metano.
¿Qué tal? La señorita sabe de lo que habla. ¿Cuál es el riesgo estimado, Junior?
El riesgo de reventón en esta área es de 0.7% según los números.
0.7% no es nada, ¿cierto?
Pero va a salir mal. El calentamiento global no se podrá detener. Resultará en clima extremo e inundaciones.
¿Y eso será nuestra culpa?
No, no solo suya.
Déjame ver. Estás aquí para salvarnos. Escúchame, jovencita. La gente ha pensado durante siglos que el fin de los tiempos se acerca. Sería bueno si demostraras un poco menos de petulancia. Que tengas buen día.
Ya entra, te estás quedando sin oxígeno. El dióxido de carbono y el metano están muy altos.
It's a shame that today's transportation industry is so inefficient. You put gasoline in a vehicle, you burn it, and you only get about 25% of the energy out of that gas. Gasoline. The rest is just up in smoke, literally. We started with horse and buggy four-wheel technology over 100 years ago. And now we've evolved that four-wheel technology into big SUVs and sedans. The automotive landscape of today is far too concerned with risk and would never think about stepping, outside of the box to make a composite vehicle that's super lightweight and aerodynamic, because it's so much different than what's available on the market today.
When we first started the company and we're looking at the shape and going through MATLAB calculations of different vehicles and saying, well, what kind of vehicle could we use as a base weight?
We see losses in heat, we see losses in friction, we see losses in aerodynamics and weight. Everything to us is an engineering challenge to make things more aerodynamic, lightweight, so they use less energy.
So then I asked the next question. I said, well, what does that shape look like? Surely there must be a shape that mathematically would equal zero for drag, or close to it, close enough. And that's how we discovered this shape and began working with it and refining it.
We think that energy should be used to turn your wheels. That starts with aerodynamics, because in a typical vehicle you use over 60% of your fuel. Just pushing the air out of the way at highway speeds. So if you could take that aerodynamic drag down to zero, you'd instantly get 60% better fuel economy. With Aptera, we did just that. More aerodynamics, lighter weight, efficient powertrain, gets you further with less energy.
A 1,000-mile range vehicle seemed absolutely absurd. It was an insane claim, but it's all science. It's all numbers, really.
You can charge the Aptera with a regular 110-volt outlet, the same outlet that you charge your cell phone on. And overnight, you can get 150 miles of range. That's unlike any other vehicle out there. One of our best new design features is our Never Charge solar package. It allows you to charge over 40 miles a day free from the sun, and allows for most daily driving needs to never have to plug in to go anywhere.
40 miles doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the equivalent of parking your car and having it magically fill up with 2 gallons of gas overnight. It's the fact that you can park it at work or wherever and go back to it with more energy in the tank than when you left it. Freedom in the sense of being able to go long distances, go without having to think about it, go without having to worry about if it's charged or not. Have it charge itself without having to pay a dime. People love.
You don't need super large charging infrastructure to keep your Aptera going on a large trip. When you stop at a roadside charger, you can charge for 10 minutes and realistically be back on the road, unlike other electric vehicles where you may have to stop for more than an hour. So the efficiency of Aptera really opens up a lot of possibilities for owners to use their vehicles in different ways than they currently do. We have a strong focus on composite technologies and AI generative design because it lowers the overall weight of the vehicle while making it one of the strongest offerings on the road today.
When you think about vehicle safety, you think about strength. Is this thing going to protect me?
Our composite monocoque chassis is built a lot like a Formula One vehicle and is very strong.
The structure surrounding you is going to be safer or stronger than virtually anything that's out there because the strength of the composites compared to steel, for example, is superior.
We take passenger safety very seriously.
Switch to Verizon Fios, the 100% fiber optic network built for streaming.
Our household is always streaming. At any given moment, we have a show going. We always have music going.
Now get 12 months of the Disney Bundle on us and $300 off the Stream TV soundbar. All for $89.99 per month, only from Verizon.
In the future, we'll travel to incredible places with the help of magical technology. But what about today?
I can't wait for what tomorrow will bring. But in the meantime, let's enjoy the ride.
We're so unique. We don't really see anybody else as competition. I mean, Steve and I want the world to adopt electric vehicles and for electric vehicles to become more efficient. So, we hope that we pull people from motorcycle and from small EV and from combustion engines that are looking for something to commute in, and for adventure people. You can take this this vehicle camping, drive 300 miles to your favorite camping spot, leave it outside to charge, and actually come home with more charge than you left with, and still cook with your induction cooktop and charge. When you have a vehicle that can create its own power, there's a lot of things that open up as possibilities.
So what do you think is the real selling point? Is it the styling and the fact that nothing looks like it? It's unique. It sort of has that look of the future,
It's the most efficient thing possible to get you from point A to point B.
Can I adjust my regeneration?
Not on this one. Okay. In the future, you'll have 3 different settings, so you can have high regen.
There's no regen when I press on the brakes. It's strictly...
this is very light regen. But if you start with science as your design principle, you end up with a vehicle that looks very different, it runs very different, it weighs less, it's more aerodynamic. You end up with the Aptera if you start from a scientific, first principles point of view. How do I use the least amount of energy to get people from their home to their work, or from their home to their grandma's, or...
So if you were to add a 4th wheel, you would have to totally redesign the whole vehicle.
Yeah,
Even if they were 2 wheels close together.
We have plans for, aerodynamic, lightweight, super efficient drivetrain 4-wheelers in the future.
Right.
But they'll look a lot like this. They'll be super aerodynamic. They'll look, more like a fish than a box.
Right.
You look at the vehicles around us. Big flat sides, big upright windshields.
Right.
That's just not efficient. And today, I love big trucks. I used to rebuild Jeeps through college and helped pay my way through college.
Right.
I love off-roading, but but big SUVs are just crazy inefficient. You'll burn 800-900 watt-hours per mile in a big SUV, whereas this you're burning 100 watt-hours per mile.
Right. Well, it's a lot of fun. It's very impressive, and of course, it looks like nothing else on the road, which is also a help and a hindrance, because you have people think, I don't want to attract that much attention, but I want something sensible, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's...
You get stuck between a rock and a hard place.
It's a vehicle that gets you noticed, for sure. Yeah, you can't pick your nose in the Aptera, because everybody's always looking at you.
That's right.
So, yeah, when we started about redesigning the vehicle, and we started looking at solar again, we're like, solar's almost twice as efficient now as it was 10 years ago. So putting solar on the dash and putting solar, everywhere we can on the roof and in the back, just makes sense. Every watt of power counts. Try to make the interior, comfortable, understandable, so anybody that gets in the vehicle,
nice clean interior, very Tesla-like in the sort of clean sheet of paper design type of deal.
Tesla's done an amazing job of figuring out, how do people use electric vehicles and what things do they really need to touch and feel, and